Hey there, YouTubers. Just wanted to make a fairly quick video comparing VHS tape to DVDs. The VHS tapes, they still exist today, of course, but they were the dominant format for movies. Like if you watched a movie, say like from a Blockbuster video, which I don't know if they even exist anymore. They might have closed all down. But yeah, in the 80s and 90s, the VHS tape was the dominant format. And you could also record on them to make your own movies or like home movies. You know, there were camcorders out there and stuff, you know. So, you know, they worked pretty good. They had their flaws, but they worked pretty good. So they're, you know, a lot of people, younger people nowadays, they might not even know too much about these things because they were born, like, say, if you were born in like 2000 or later, you didn't really see a lot of these probably. So then we got the DVDs, which kind of started around 1996. And therefore, you know, you got DVD movies. You can record on DVDs as well. I don't know if many people do, but you can record on them. So, you know, you can make your own home movies. You need a DVD recorder. I think most people probably don't make their own DVDs. You know, probably they just play them. That's it. Not as much as I think back when you had the VHS. I think people. I mean, I did it too. I would record my own VHS tapes. You know, a lot of people did. You know, but nowadays I don't really know. I mean, I know that what some people did is they took their old VHS tapes and took them to a store that can convert the VHS to a DVD. The DVD has got its advantages, like I think it's longer lasting than the VHS tape. Like if you just stored them, the DVD has a longer shelf life, I think, than the VHS. At least I think that's probably true. Don't know for a fact, but I think it's probably true. And you don't, like another advantage, you don't have to rewind a DVD. There's really no sense, you know, there's no rewinding of DVDs because they work different. The VHS is what you call an analog. It's kind of like a record, you know, like a LP. Younger people probably don't know a lot about LPs as well. They're an older format. But it's basically like a one-track. You know, it starts on the outside and runs to the inside. It's just one track all the way, just a big spiral. Well, the DVD is not set up that way. A DVD is a recording of concentric circles. Like you got the outer circle, and the inner circle, and the inner, and the inner, and inner, inner, and all the way to the middle. You'll have all these tracks that are shaped like circles. And there's there's a bunch of them, and each track can hold data. It's basically for recording data in a digital format. That's the difference. This is analog, this is digital. So there's no rewinding. There's no, you know, the rewinding is like something you don't do with DVDs, you know. Of course, when you had LPs, you didn't have to rewind them either because, you know, it's not like you played the LP and then you were stuck at the end. You just lift up the head reader and then just move it over back to the outside. So that's how those work. But the VHS needed to be rewound. That's one disadvantage of the VHS tapes is in order to play it again from the beginning, you had to rewind the whole thing. So that was a glaring problem I'd say that was probably one of the worst glaring problems with VHS tapes, is they had to be rewound all the way back to the beginning. So anyway, but yeah, DVDs, those are what you see most nowadays. You know, I have a DVD collection. I think I've got some VHS tapes too, but I don't think I even have a working VHS player. I do have a couple of DVD players, so I can play my DVDs. But yeah, I don't think I even have a VHS player, because it's really been so long ago that I had a whole VHS tape collection, like probably 40 or 50 tapes, but I think I sold them or something, because they just, you know, they're just out of date, or they're just not the modern format that you want to use. However, I will note there's one advantage I would name for VHS over DVDs. All right, let's say your DVD like gets scratched or something, like where it gets slightly damaged, and so some of the files that were recorded on your DVD are messed up, and then you try to play it. Well, it'll start playing, but then once it hits the file that's messed up, it'll just stop, and it'll come up with a little screen or something and say like the movie couldn't proceed or whatever. You know, it's like it'll just stop playing, and then you're just, you're stuck there going like, whoa, keep playing. You know, you just want it to play. You don't care. But it'll just stop playing. That's the disadvantage of a DVD. If you've got corrupted files or damaged files or whatever, it'll play up until that file, but then it'll just stop, and then you got to figure out what you're going to do next. Well, with the VHS tape, there could be all kinds of bad stuff on the tape. Well, the VHS player don't care. It'll just play what's on. Well, it'll just play the tape, static and all. It'll play whatever damage is on there. It don't matter. It's just running a tape through the machine. It's just a mechanical process. It don't care what's on the tape. It's just playing it. So, in my opinion, if I had the choice of these two, well, I'd probably choose to have both, because a DVD is probably going to be, if it's working right, it's got like probably better clarity, looks better, the recording looks better, stuff like that. But then the VHS could start, over time it can start degrading, start getting some static in there, some discoloration when you're playing it, stuff like that. However, it'll keep playing it no matter what, as long as the tape is in one piece and not broken or anything. As long as that tape's, is good from all the way from the beginning to the end, it don't matter if it's got scratches or whatever, it'll play it. Which I think is better than the problem you have with DVDs, where if you just got one little file corruption somewhere on there, when it hits that file corruption, bang, you're dead. Your movie stops, and it won't stop. You could tell it to jump over that part if you know where that part is. Sometimes you can tell it to, if you know what chapter you're in or whatever, you can jump to a later chapter and play from there. But the part where it was messed up, you're just out of luck on seeing it because it's corrupted. That's the problem, I think, with DVDs is, unless you can get you I guess the only way to fix it would be to get you a new one. I don't know how you would fix it. I don't know. You'd have to just get a new file, and I mean, you can't just get a new file for that one part that's corrupted and replace it. I don't think there's any way to do that unless you're like a DVD recording expert, which 99.9% of people are not. So that's the advantage. Even though this one is dominant now, and it's kind of a better format and everything, this does have the advantage of playing the recording, scratches and whatever. It'll play it. So you can watch your old movies on this thing pretty much forever. I mean, like, you could, if it gets too bad, I guess you can go out and get you a new one so that it'll look better. But as long as the tape's not broken, it'll play it. So that's the advantage. I think that's a pretty good advantage that VHS has over DVD. Because like, if one thing's messed up on this, it'll just stop. But it won't do it on this. It'll just keep playing on this. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. This is the VHSs in the 80s and 90s, and the DVDs from the mid 90s until about now. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next one.